Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Made with Love. My name is Heather and today is Monday, May 19th of 2025. So up here in Canada, it's our holiday. It's Victoria Day, so it's our long May weekend. So I had made soup a couple of weeks ago, I don't know, a week or two ago. I honestly don't remember when, but I get these packages of soup mixes from the Dollar Tree. They're $2.50, $3, I forget, somewhere in that price range, which is, okay price. I mean, I liked it when they were $1. They've gone up a couple bucks, but still for $3 to have, I buy these, I keep them in the pantry as just staples. So they have the cream of leek and cream of broccoli. They also have an onion, which I do find actually works good. Almost like not quite as a soup, but I do thicken it up, kind of make it more like a thicker sauce, kind of like a more runny gravy. I guess I don't really know how to describe it. So I mean, I made the leek last time, so this time I'm going to make cream of broccoli. So for each one of these, it says you need 3 cups of cold water and 1 cup of milk. Now I have a lot of milk that needs to get used up. This is goat's milk, and I will say my family does notice the difference when it's baked if I use goat's milk or regular milk. So I'm going to make this tonight with, going to use up the rest of this goat's milk because I have another full jug of goat's milk, so another 2 liters of goat's milk in my fridge in the garage. Also, I have a 4 liter of other, I think it's like 2% milk, I believe. So I've got a lot of milk I got to use up. It was on sale. I got this stuff kind of cheap, so I've got to use it up before it expires. So with that being said, so I need 4 cups of liquid for each one of these I'm doing. I like to mix it, like some people, okay, the way it says it's 3 cups of cold water, 1 cup of milk. I found a 50-50 is, okay. I prefer the more milk, the creamier and thicker it will be. I've also made these with just the 4 cups of water if I don't have any milk. If I do just a straight, 4 cups of water, I usually have like skim milk powder or whatever down in my pantry somewhere. So I might add some skim milk powder to help thicken up some of the water. But for this, I'm just going to use, the 4 cups of liquid, most of it being milk. I don't know how many cups I've got here in my thing, so I'm just going to measure it out. First, I'm just going to dump these soup mixes in here. This only takes about 10-15 minutes to make this soup, so it's pretty quick and easy. So I'm just going to see how much. It's like a 2 liter jug. It's about half gone, so I will see. Okay, so it looks like I've got 4 liters. Oops. Well, I guess today I'm going to do half and half. So half water, half milk. So that was about 4 cups of milk, and I'll add my 4 cups of cold water. And I forgot to grab my whisk. I'm just going to give this a whisk while it says in a large saucepan, whisk soup mix with 3 cups of cold water, 1 cup of milk. Bring to a boil over moderately high heat, whisking constantly, and then you lower the heat, partially cover, and simmer for another 5 minutes. So I'm just going to turn my stove on. I'm going to turn it to about 8-ish. So not quite high, but just a little bit below the high heat. And I'm just going to whisk this until it boils. I have to stir this constantly. I'm going to whisk. I'm splashing. I'm just going to whisk this. It's going to take probably 5 to 8 minutes for it to get to a boil. And then once it's at a boil, I will turn it down and just let it simmer. So I will be back when it's come to a boil. Okay, so it's now come to a boil, so I'm going to turn it down to a simmer. And while that is simmering, I'm also going to just make some sandwiches to go with the soup for tonight. So I have a can of pink salmon. As soon as I opened these cans, all my animals just came running. So I will drain the juice out in a second. I'm going to give it to my animals. But I just find to get the tuna and salmon and stuff out of the can, it's easier to dump it in with the juice still in here. And then I'm going to go and drain out the juice and give it to my animals. I'm going to go pour it in their food dish. So I'll be right back. But this is just flaked light tuna in water. And this is just pink salmon with skin and bones. I don't know if it's in water or oil. The salmon doesn't say specifically. So I'll be back. And I got to grab the bread. So I'll be right back. All right, so just move to the other counter as well. I got the bread out. So I'm just using no name regular bread. I'm just going to scoop in some mayonnaise into both bowls here. I like making like 2 types of sandwiches when I make soup. Gives people like a variety. And this spoon just touched the salmon, so I need more mayonnaise. I'll have to get a different spoon. I try to avoid doing that, but it happens. I just got to give the soup another quick stir here. Okay. So that's just the tuna and mayonnaise, and this is the salmon with the mayonnaise. Then I will usually add a little bit of other stuff. I will in a second if I have any. Relish and mustard. So do I have any relish? I've got some relish. And I know I have mustard. Just, is it opened or do I have to open it? I'm going to use some of the honey Dijon mustard. I always find it gives it a little flavor. And if I use some of these flavored mustards, I don't usually use salt and pepper because they usually have salt added. Yeah, the mustard has salt added. This also has turmeric, and it's got some other stuff because it is honey flavored. You can sprinkle a little bit of pepper in here or salt if you weren't adding anything, but because I'm adding a little bit of this stuff, I usually find I don't need to add salt and pepper. Just wondering if this has pepper in it. No, but it does have more salt and more spices as well. So just do a good scoop of those. And I know myself, if I don't put the lids on these containers, I am going to get them contaminated with other things. This is garbage. So there's the salmon is ready, and now my tuna is ready. I think I've added a little bit too much mayonnaise to the tuna. Let's see, do I have a second can of tuna sitting here? Yes, I do. I'm just going to add it happens sometimes you add a little bit too much stuff. So now I gotta drain this and I'll be right back. And because I'm adding a second can of tuna, I'm adding some more relish and some more mustard. It doesn't need any more mayonnaise, but just a little bit more of this just to give more flavor, because this was a different brand of tuna and it looks and smells a little different. So this one here is the no name, just a chunk light tuna packed in water. Got that done. I'm just going to stir the soup again. Because I've got the milk in there and I just don't want the soup to, or the milk to burn. I did that last time I was doing this. Actually had some of the stuff actually burned to the bottom of the pan. Go grab a stack of bread. Just grab my bread out of here, just do a couple stacks. So I grabbed 2 loaves. I don't know how much bread I'm going to need. 2, 5. I don't know how many. 2. Oh, looks like I've got an odd number of bread here. I'm just going to lay the bread out, and then I'm just going to scoop on like every little bit on every other piece of bread here. And then this one here was the crust part. I'm just going to scoop this off here. I didn't quite realize that was the crust. I usually do something a little different with the crust. But I'm making all these nice sandwiches. I didn't want to use the crust piece yet. And then the tuna one, same thing. I'm just going to grab this bread out. Well, there's 2. That's not a crust piece. This is the crust pieces. I'm going to set to the side. Like this. I'm just going to make these tuna ones up, and I'll be back. I'm just going to take a couple minutes. The soup is almost done as well, so I'll be back as soon as I get all these sandwiches made up, and I've got them sliced on a plate, and I'm ready to lift up the soup. All right, so I got them all made, so I'm going to take my stacks of them here. I'm just going to put it in half, and I just cut my sandwiches into quarters. And this stack into quarters. And then I just put them on the plate. I already did the tuna, so this is the salmon. Although I had one sandwich that I'm not quite sure if it was tuna or salmon, and it was on the other plate. And, you know, so that does happen when you're making two types of meat like this, with a salmon and tuna. They look so similar. They smell similar. You're working with both at the same time, same ingredients in them. So if I have one sandwich on the other plate that might be the wrong one, I don't think it's gonna matter. There we go. Like I said, I got this nice plate of sandwiches here, and I got the other nice plate of sandwiches here, and I'm just going to lift up myself a bowl of soup. I'm just giving this another little whisk here, just making sure that it's all stirred and smells good, looks good. Just going to use a half cup measure because I don't know where my ladles are. Pour some soup in here. Let me see. My that burner's hot. I'm just going to set this here so I don't burn myself. All right, so there's the soup. I'm going to grab one of each of the sandwiches. Find the small ones. Well, they're all about the same size. I'm just going to grab myself a spoon as well. And here we go. This is the cream of broccoli soup. It tastes so good. And then I said I love pairing it with just simple sandwiches. You just dip each one in. It tastes so good. I think that was the tuna, I believe. I don't know. I cannot tell which sandwich is which now. This was the tuna. This is the salmon. The sandwiches taste really good dipped in the soup. Burn my lip. So tonight's supper was just very quick and easy, just soup and sandwiches. But it's good to have just those days where you just whip supper together, a few basic ingredients. So it's cream of broccoli soup and salmon and tuna sandwiches. I'm just looking at the clock because I got to get ready to go because it's Monday night, so I've got Bible study tonight, so it's almost 6:30. So it has taken me start to finish 40-ish, 45 minutes in total to start pulling up the ingredients till now. So it does have some prep work. I think it's because making the sandwiches does take a little longer, waiting for this to come to the boil and constantly standing there stirring, which means I couldn't get anything else done. I couldn't do any other prep work while I'm standing there. So that's our tonight's supper. Again, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who subscribes to my channels, watches my videos, and I will see you in the next ones. Bye.